Hello, young artists. Today we're going to learn about two-dimensional art and three-dimensional art. Two-dimensional art, or 2D art, is flat, such as a painting. This is a poster of a painting, or a drawing. Three-dimensional art, or 3D, is not flat, and we call that a form. A form is something that takes up space. I have an example of a form or a sculpture that's made of metal. This is a sculpture of the Eiffel Tower, which is in Paris, France. And then I have a little sculpture I made out of clay of a little dog. These are things that take up space. They are not flat. I have a poster of a vase or a bowl. This is something that is 3D. It has a form and it's useful. It's something we could use to store something in. Sculptures like this ballerina, this alpaca, or this llama, these are made of silver. This is made of bronze. This was first made out of clay by the artist, and then they poured melted bronze into it to make the sculpture. Over here we have a sculpture of an important person. This is Martin Luther King Jr. And then way over here we have a sculpture of two dancers. Imagine how big that sculpture is. You could walk under it and all around it. Today, after this lesson, you will be able to say that I can make a paper sculpture. I'm going to show you some ways to do that now. You will need some paper. Anything that you have at home is fine. Notebook paper or newspaper would work, but it might be kind of flimsy. If you have something like cardstock, something that maybe a postcard comes on, or here's an old Christmas card, you could use that. I've got lots of construction paper already cut into strips. So you might need some scissors. You definitely are going to need some glue or a glue stick today. And we're going to use some folding and rolling techniques to make a sculpture. You can make a small sculpture like this. I use the construction paper to make it colorful. Or you could really go for it and make something big like this one. If you make something this big, it'll take a little more time. I think it's worth the effort. And you'll have to make sure things balance. If you notice, I've got squares inside of squares. Like the big yellow square in the middle has an orange square inside of it. That's to help support it. Kind of like a kickstand on a bicycle. It helps hold it up. So I'll show you how to make some of these forms today. The easiest one to make is a roll. So when you roll the paper, it will look like this. I do want you to be careful. Don't drag your fingers down the edges of the paper. Ouch! You can get a paper cut. I'm gonna roll this up. So I'm gonna hold it on the flat part, and I'm just gonna kind of turn my wrist a little, like I'm turning a little teeny tiny doorknob, and that will help that paper begin to curve. The paper wants to spring back open, so when you glue it, I like to use regular glue, but you might like to use a glue stick better. I squeeze out a little bit of glue, not too much. I hold it, and then I kind of, to myself, I kind of count to 10. I hold it really still. You might need to hold it a little bit longer, but this is how you get your first form. Now you could glue it on the side and simply glue it onto a piece of paper. I'm going to use this cardstock. Remember, cardstock is paper that's heavier than notebook paper or drawing paper. It's something a postcard would come on, or a Christmas card or a birthday card. And I'm holding this for another 10-15 seconds. And now I think it's secure and I can let go. I can even turn it upside down and it won't fall off. So just that right there, I have a sculpture. There's even an easier way, and that is the fold. If you take a piece of paper and you simply fold it one time, it stands up. It becomes a form. It's not flat anymore. It's three-dimensional. I can measure how tall it is. I can measure how wide it is this way and how wide it is this way. That's three ways, kind of like a box. Another way is to fold over and over. There's more than one way to do this. If I take a paper, I've already got this one made, but I make three folds. Watch. 1, 2, let me go this way. 1, 2, and 3. That's 3 folds. When I overlap it and glue it, I will get a triangular prism like that. If I fold it, here's a big wide piece of lime green paper. If I fold it over and over, 1, 2, 3, and look, I have just a little bit left over, 4, that's 4 folds, unroll it or unfold it, and then overlap that little bit, you get kind of like a cube. It has 4 sides like a square. If I folded it over and over 5 times, you get a form that has 5 sides like a little house. That's how I got this yellow form on this sculpture. I folded it 5 times. If you fold it 6 times, check it out. You get a hexagon. There's another fold I want to show you. I want to show you an arch. So an arch will have a curve at the top. Well, I've got one on this small sculpture here. It's red. And notice it's glued here. You have to have a flat place to glue it. So how would you make an arch? Well, I'll show you with this blue piece. I would fold it over just a little bit. There's the fold. And I would fold the other end just a little bit. It doesn't have to be the same amount. And then I will show you on the little pink piece of cardstock. You would bring it together like that. So where do I put the glue? I would put a little glue on each one of these little feet. And then you can experiment with how far apart you slide it. If you put the feet close together, your arch will be taller. If you pull the feet apart, the arch will be wider but lower. I could put it right over the red roll or circle that I made, or ring, like that. I need to hold it for about 5, 6, 7 seconds to get that to stick. So now I have an arch. I have one more thing I want to show you today. I want to show you the zigzag. This is a little bit harder. It'll look like that when you're done. You can make it into kind of a spring. You can pull it this way and make it into stairs. And I'll show you with another color how to do that. I'm going to get this really wide lime green paper, and I'm going to fold over. And there's a couple ways you can do this. And I want to really pinch it, crimp it, crease it. So I've got a nice crisp fold. You can go under, over, and that will begin making a zigzag. Or you can flip it each time and fold it in the same direction. It's getting a little bit crooked, and that might happen to you too. That's okay. So it all folds up like that, and then when you let go, boing, you've got like a little spring. And sometimes that's fun, just to glue and have part of your sculpture move like that. Think about if you could design a skate park, an amusement park, an obstacle course. one of those little houses for hamsters where they can get in and roll and jump and do all those little things. And if you have a little skateboard toy or you have some little small people or animals, you could make them a little house or a farm or a zoo or something like that when you make your sculpture. When you make your sculpture, I would really love it and appreciate it if you would get your grown-up to take a picture of it with a smartphone and email it to me at school. I'll see you next time, young artists.